Being a mom, being a wife, and being everything for everyone else around me, I totally forgot who I was for a second. Like, I really forgot that I was that girl. And I can't be the only woman, wife, mother who has gone through this phase where you literally lost yourself in all the responsibilities you basically were carrying. Haitian American woman, and my parents were immigrants who migrated from Haiti to the US. So I've always viewed my mother as being this strong Haitian woman who literally came from another country, came to this country, learned the language, got her settled, and now she is living her life with her husband, with her kids. Now, my mom growing up, I didn't really hear her complain about anything. I didn't hear her complain about being a mom. I didn't hear her complain about the responsibilities she had. It was 6 of us in the house, so you can only imagine. So never really grew up understanding and actually seeing the struggles of a mom in real time. But I didn't really understand what that meant until I became a mom. I'm a young mom, became a mom in my early 20s, barely knowing who I was. And my 20s are really just full of me being a wife and a young mother. And I want to say it wasn't until I was hitting my early 30s that I realized that I was really slowly losing myself. I was losing the spiciness of Jessica. I was losing my personality. I was losing what makes me happy. I was losing what brought me joy at the end of the day. I found myself going to bed feeling like someone just sucked the life out of me. And for me, that felt like literally pouring into everyone else, but I wasn't getting filled, if that makes sense. And there's different aspects to that, of course, but the main one that I kind of wanted to focus on regarding this video is the one that being what you want to be for everyone else isn't going to fulfill you at the end of the day. So you can't just say, oh, I just want to be a wife and I'll be happy. Yes, for a moment you may think that's going to bring you joy, but it really isn't, because God did not create us to just, as far as women, to just be wives and just be mothers. He's created us for something more. He's created us for something bigger. We all have purpose. So for me, I feel like God was kind of bringing that to my attention, because I was operating in a space where I was just feeling these responsibilities, but I wasn't allowing God to pour into me, and I wasn't allowing God to kind of manifest what he has for me through me. And what I mean by that is that you may be in the season where your kids are small, your wife, and you have multiple kids, but you feel a tug. You feel that God is calling you to a different area. You feel that, like, you feel that with being a mom and a wife, right? Because that's not going to change, right? Being a mom and a wife is going to change, but there's more that you can offer. There's more that you can do during the day. So you feel complete. So you feel happy. So you feel genuine joy. Because when you're constantly running on the responsibilities that you carry, you're going to find yourself being burnt out. And then if you become burnt out, it could be harder for you to come out of that. So for me, my joy came from knowing who I was and getting back to Jessica, and even getting back to Jessica and being purposeful, right? Getting back to Jessica doesn't just mean I get to do whatever I want, but also understanding that I have an assignment and God has called me to a certain level. God has called me to a certain position. And it's until I was able to walk in that position that I became whole, that I became more at peace, that I became more filled. Not because my responsibilities as a wife and a mom went away, because they're not going away, but because now I'm walking in purpose. Now I'm really doing what God has called me to do. And in my spirit, because my spirit is aligned with the agenda, with God's agenda, with God's will for my life, I'm not disturbed. I'm not irritated by the fact that I'm a wife. I have to clean, I have to cook, I have to take care of my husband. I'm not irritated by the fact that I have kids in school that I have to provide for. I have to work, I have to bring them to school, I have to pack the lunches, I have to pick them up from soccer, pick them up from school. I'm not irritated, annoyed by those things, because I know at the end of the day, while doing those things, while having those responsibilities, I'm walking in purpose, and that's what's going to fulfill me at the end of the day. So I know that's a word for someone. I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. So if you're a mom and a wife and you carry multiple hats, maybe you're a caregiver to a family member, whoever you are, as a woman, you're probably feeling off and you're probably feeling burnt out and depleted because alongside of those responsibilities that you are responsible for, you're also not walking in God's will. You're also not doing what he's called you to do. So your spirit is unaligned, your spirit is disturbed, and you are not at peace. So try to find out what God is calling you to do. Try to commune with him and communicate with God and ask him, what more can you be doing at this time, because you are not at rest and you're getting depleted. See you in the next video.